So, one of the things you'll be learning this week is about tables in HTML and CSS, how to style them. So, tables are only to be used for data. So, if you have a large amount of data that you want to display in a nice table, you would use the table HTML setup to do that. You never want to use table formatting to create the layout of a page. That's not the best way to do it. It's a very actually outdated way to do it. That's something that they used to do, you know, when the first started. So I will go over how to set up a table. Okay, so let's start over here. So I already started a HTML file and a CSS file, and I've hooked up my CSS file right here, so it's all set up and ready to go. So first we're going to add table. And table. Okay. So now in a table, there are three parts to that, kind of similar to how we've been doing in just the body: a header tag, a main tag, and then a footer tag. A table has something very similar. So it has a T head. So this is where you would put all of the headers inside of there that define what data is in each column. And then there is the T body. So this is where all of the data will go. And then T footer. This is where any side information will go, perhaps linking to where this data came from. Okay, so I'm going to make a table about Stardew Valley marriage candidates. Playing Stardew Valley, and I want to create a table that will help me decide who I should marry in the game. Okay, so let's start with TR. TR is a row. So this is a row right here, and I'm going to have two rows in my head. Okay, so in the first one, I'm going to put a TH. So now a TH is essentially a header or a heading. So like an H1, H2, H3, it's very similar to that. So this is my heading in the first row. So I'm going to do Stardew Valley marriage candidates. Okay. And then in my second row, I am going to do the headings for each of my columns. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So to start, I'm just going to copy these. 1, 2, 6. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. Name of the candidate. Let's do description. Their birthday. Location, so where they live. Let's see. Universal loves. So if you've ever played this game, you can give people gifts. So and the characters in the game either love or hate something. So if you want to marry someone, it's probably a good idea to give them things that they love. And then universal hates, because we want to make sure that we're not giving them something they hate. So let's go over here, refresh. And so this is the head. So this line around the whole outside, that's the table itself. And then this is the row, the first row and the first TH. So marriage candidates, and then see how these fill in from there. But one thing to notice, so this is the first row and this is the second row. And this one only has one TH, but it doesn't fill up the entire row. It only fills up over the first column. So it is dependent upon how many THs are in each row. There are also TDs, which I will get to here shortly. But so let's say this is the title of our entire table, and we want it to take up this whole space, so all the way across. So there is a attribute we can add to just this th that will allow us to do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So we are going to add to here, so it's an attribute, so it must go on here, so col span. So that's how many columns it should span or take up across the row. And we want it to take up 6. So let's save that, come back here, refresh, and there we go. So now it takes up across this whole entire thing. So as you can see, there are some black outlines here already. I've actually already added that right here. So my table, my headings, and then my data cells that we will get to here shortly already have a border of 1 pixel solid black. So just so you can see the cells here as I go along. Okay, so we have our head set up how we want it. So now let's go into the body. So we need a row again, and close that row out. Okay, now let's add our data into the table, into the body. So we are going to need 6 data containers across this row because there are 6 columns. So let's go through here and let's duplicate these. Okay, so the first one is going to be the name. So I'm going to do Emily. That is one of the characters. Okay, description. So I already have this up here, and I'm just going to copy, if I can copy this. Here, let's just copy this. And we don't want the location where she lives, so I'll just paste that here. And let's copy this. And this is her location, so that goes in the 4th one. So we want to make sure that we're doing the same order in the columns as we are doing here. Let's see, when is her birthday? It is fall 2. So fall 2. And let's see. I'm only going to add a couple of the things that she loves. So let's see. She loves diamonds, emeralds, melons, and poppies. Okay. So universal loves. Diamond, emerald, melon, and poppy. Ooh. And what does she hate? She hates, let's go down here. Obviously this already has a table, so this is pretty unnecessary, but I'm just going to show you how to do it. Beer, grape, holly, and hops. Beer, grape, holly, hops. Okay, save that. Come back to our table that we're creating, refresh, and there we go. So as you can see, this takes up quite a bit of space, so the column is stretching to fill that in. Same with the location, where she lives, likes, dislikes, so on and so forth. So now we could just copy paste this one. I'm just going to copy this, paste, and just change the name. Let's do Shane. Save that. Come back here. Let's see. Let's see. Copy this and change the description to Shane's description. I'm gonna do toggle word wrap so it wraps so I can see it a little bit better. When's his birthday? Spring of 20. Spring 20. And he lives with Marnie, I believe. Marnie's Ranch. That's where he lives. And I noticed that I had an extra space up here, so I'm just going to go and delete that. Let's see. And what does he like? I believe he likes, oh, here's some best gifts. Beer, hot peppers, pepper popper, and pizza. Let's see what he hates. Sorry. He hates pickles and quartz. Okay, save that. Go back to our chart that we have, and there we go. So as you can see, once it reaches the edge of my web page, it is wrapping the text down so that way it doesn't go off and we don't have a side scroll bar here. And then you could just continue to add more names and all of their descriptions and keep going down. But let's change or add into our footer where we got all of this information. So we're just going to use a TD down here. Oh, except for we need to add a row because the TD needs to be in a row, otherwise it's not doing anything. TR, and we got this information from the Stardew Valley wiki. So copy just the first part of that, and let's see, got info from, and let's add another TD. And I'm going to add an A inside of here. A href equals, close out my A, but we can't see anything because there's no content to the A yet. So I'm just do Stardew Valley wiki. And let's save and see what that looks like. And there we go. Got info from this. But it doesn't quite take up the whole space, so it makes it look a little awkward. So let's spread these out. So there are 6 columns and there's only 2 of these, so let's do col span 3 for each of those. 3, col span 3, and let's take a look and see what happens. There. So now they take up 3 columns each, so it spreads it out a little bit more. And then you could add some styles to this. So let's go back into here. So maybe we want the table itself to be what color? What color should we make it? Yellow? Okay, and let's save that. Come back and refresh. There. And then you could also add in a background color to your headings so that they would stand out a little bit better. So background color, let's do something that black will still look good on. Let's do aqua. Save that. Refresh. So now my headings stand out a little bit better compared to the data itself. And we could actually add background color to the foot so it stands out separately from the rest of the content. So background color, let's make it purple, but then black text doesn't stand out on there, so let's change this to white. Save that, refresh. Whoop, I must have done something wrong. I believe it's actually supposed to be foot. Let's save that. Yeah, so but then our A isn't standing out here, so we want our A that is in the foot. So A and the foot to stand out, and let's add a color white. Save that, refresh. There, now we can read that too. So that's just a little bit of how tables work. You'll be making another table and about Lord of the Rings characters for the lab this week.